Hi and welcome to In the Front Row, all things reactions, reviews and interviews. My name's Jamie Lee and today I'll be doing a review of episode 1 of the new Walking Dead spin-off series, The Tales of the Walking Dead. If you're a regular here, you know I love The Walking Dead. If you are new to my channel, you should know I love The Walking Dead. I love the spin-offs, I love anything to do with the Walking Dead universe in general. I'm not really a fan of these anthology series, and that's exactly what this new show is. It's 6 random episodes and different characters in each one. I'm not really a fan of that because I really like TV shows because you do get to spend that extra time, learning about the characters and really getting attached to these characters. So having these one-off episodes, I felt like it was going to be hard to connect, but this first episode, it was great. I could connect to both the characters and yeah, I really enjoyed the first episode. Plus, I think it was a really smart move by marketing to have Terry Crews and Olivia Munn introduce us in the first episode. That will really boost ratings and really help the franchise. Also, I think the new intro looks sick. So in the first episode, we're introduced to Joe, who is a loner, a little bit of a hermit, but also a prepper and a survivalist. He knew the world was going to go to shit and he prepared for it. So he lives with his best friend, a pet named Jilly, and they live in an underground bunker full of supplies, and above ground, he's modded up a bike for transportation, and he's created like all these little traps to keep their underground bunker safe. The show quickly but successfully introduced us to these characters and showed us what their routine was like, where Joe does puzzles every day, watches sport, eats with the dog, and then takes him out to do his dog business. So one night when they're outside letting the dog do what the dog does, they were approached by a herd of toe tags, which is the strangest name that I've heard for zombies in all of the Walking Dead universe, I would say. Anyway, so the dog gets attacked and the dog dies. It's very straight to the point and very I Am Legend-ish. We then see Joe bury his mate and follow the same pattern or same routine that he was doing prior to his loss. Obviously, he realizes that he is lonely now that the dog's gone, and he revisits these past conversations that he had online with another prepper called You Should Be Scared. Prior to the apocalypse, they would obviously chat online, they had a lot in common and they built a friendship. And so he set off to see if she was alive because he came to the realization that he is a coward and that he's alone and he doesn't want to be. On his journey, the tires on his modded bike got spiked and he was captured by a hippie, a vegan, a martial artist named Evie. Evie's not a very trusting person, but she forces Joe to accompany her to go on this mission to find her separated husband. Lo and behold, along the way, their bike got stolen in exchange for a baby lamb, so they had to go it on foot, and along the way, they got into a fight over who was to blame about the fact that they no longer had the bike. So Evie finds her ex-husband's house, she found what she was looking for, and she's happy, so she heads off to find Joe. And Joe ended up finding Are You Scared? Which I guess we all knew, but it was just a matter of how would he find her? Like, would she be a zombie? Would she be a cannibal? Would she have a family and just want to take his supplies? Like, what would she be like when he does find her? That's how I thought anyway. And when he did find her, it was none of those things. But she was unhinged and she did go loopy because of her time in isolation in the bunker. So she assumed that Joe was there to take over her bunker, and it was a nice bunker. So I can definitely see why people would have wanted to do that previously. But Joe had good intentions. He just wanted company during the apocalypse. And instead, she drugged him, attempted to kill him, and took his watch as a souvenir like she had done with other people that she'd killed before. As I said, she'd gone loopy. So Evie comes along and saves the day, probably because she's immune to the edibles, because she does admit to taking weed all the time. And she calls out, Are you scared? They have a little battle. And then Joe lands that final blow to end her loopy life. And together, Evie and Joe head off to kill some more toe tags in their big, beautiful world with their new pet, Skipper. Yep, they named the lamb. And that is their happily ever after. So I thought that was an awesome episode for the type of series that it was. Like, the pacing was really on point. It didn't feel boring. It didn't feel dragged out. And even though it was a short amount of time, I feel like we got enough backstory to really know their history and to understand their character personalities or their character traits. And I thought the banter between the two was really fun. Their friendship felt really genuine. And that made me really want to follow their journey. And it made me want the both of them to really get their happy ending in the apocalypse. I laughed quite a lot in the episode. I thought there was a lot of really funny moments and really good one-liners that did land. These were the moments here.
At least we have dinner.
That's not even funny. You should be scared.
Is that a question or a warning?
And I love that they stayed true to taking the piss out of Terry's physique. It seems to be a pattern in every TV show that he's in. They like to really talk about how buff he is and things like that. And I just find that really funny.
Happy story, Mr. Sunshine. You just holed up with your protein powder?
Couldn't reach it, huh? Too much time on weights instead of core.
My core is fine.
So overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I really like these two characters. If I'm being honest with you, I would have liked to have seen more of these two characters rather than introduce new ones every single week. But hey, it's Walking Dead content, so I'm happy either way. But yeah, this first episode was really, really good. And I just wanted to chuck some thoughts out there. This is not a criticism on the show because I get it's only a 50-minute episode. Like, you can't cram any more in. And I feel like what was in that episode was absolutely perfect. Like, that was enough. But my thoughts were, I would have liked to have seen Terry have better weapons. You know, like, he modded up his bike and he obviously got parts and things for that. So it would have been cool to see him have better traps or better weapons, because I think all he had was like the axe or maybe two. So yeah, it would have been cool to see him have like really modded out weapons as well as the bike. That would have been badass. And the next thought I had was, why didn't they stay in Are You Scared's bunker? You know, like, she had a fully decked out bunker. She had food, she had supplies, she had power. Everything was great there. Like, why did they have to leave? Or even if they did leave, like, why did they go in the nighttime with like an axe and a gun that wasn't even loaded? You know what I mean? Like, just stay there. It's great there. Anyway, those were just my thoughts on that. So before I wrap this up, I just wanted to ask a question, and if you could leave the answer in the comments below, that would be awesome. But if you're in a zombie apocalypse and you had like food and supplies and everything to live comfortably, would you leave it to go and find company, or would you stay there and live your days comfortably alone? Because I gotta admit, at the start of the show, I was like, why are you leaving, Joe? Like, you have shelter, you have supplies, you could live comfortably. Yeah, you might be alone, but you could definitely live comfortably for the rest of your days. But I like that the point of the story was the fact that he needed to go and find company, because look at what happened when Are You Scared was alone for that time. She ended up turning batshit crazy due to the isolation. So I think the point of the message was, you know, you really need company in an apocalypse so that you don't go crazy. And that company is important in any stage of life, especially in an apocalypse. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments what you would do. Would you stay in the bunker, or would you go and find some company? And while you're at it, can you please give this video a like? And if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel, and then head on over to my Instagram and give me a follow over there as well, please. Okay, sweet as. Have a good day. Bye.